Hey guys, welcome back to Vince Vale Custom. So today we're going to do a repair on this Catwoman hand. I'm pretty sure it's a Catwoman hand. As you can see, it broke and they glued it together. Now, as I always tell people, you can always try to repair your own items. There's nothing wrong with it, but just you got to be careful with like super glue. And I always tell people buy gel glue. If you're a statue collector, it's called IC gel. Comes in this tube. It comes in a box. So I'll show you what the box looks like. So if you get a box, it comes like this, and inside it comes with a tube, and it comes with two caps because sometimes, you know, as you're using it, one cap will go bad, and it's like that. Once you push the cap on, it opens up and it goes from there. This stuff is absolutely amazing for statue repairs if you want to do them on your own. It doesn't do all that cloudiness. And it also is a gel, so it doesn't bleed. So as you can see on this one, I guess they use super glue, or they might have used Gorilla Glue or something, and it bled all over the place. It's very, very difficult. Now, I've talked to some people in the past where they repaired their statues. They don't care about this. It's back to normal. They don't care. Other people, you know, like like me and stuff, you got OCD or something. You really want your items to look perfect. So when they contacted me, I said, you know, I don't know what the statue is. And I always tell people first, check eBay to see how much these statues cost, because I try to be honest with people. Between my repairs and shipping back and forth, the cost, you know, could be to the point where you might as well just spend a couple extra $100 or $100 or two, whatever, and get yourself a brand new one that's not broken and sell your one damaged on eBay. They'll offset your costs. Now, I also tell people if it's a sentimental item, you know, and you don't care about the repair cost, you want to repair it, that's fine. I just try to be honest with people with repairs, that's all. But in this case, they did check, but they said that they still want me to repair it because I guess maybe it was just too costly to buy another one. So they sent it to me. They did a great job packing, and we're going to kind of repair it. So you can see there is a lot of bleeding of glue on there. And I guess what I'm thinking is they use super glue or they use Gorilla Glue and it bled all over the place. Now, I don't know if there's wires in the fingers. I'm not really sure because you can tell these two fingers are broken, but I'm not really sure. And I think this finger was glued at an angle because I don't think this finger is correct. So what I want to do is I want to scrape off the glue. Let's see if we can scrape off the glue as best as we can right now without slicing a finger. And then after that, I think if there is rods in there, we can sort of bend the rods back and fix it. But I guess, I guess this finger broke over here too, and there's some glue there. So usually when you have some bleeding of a glue and there is paint, you can sort of kind of use a X-Acto blade and sort of get under it. And sometimes it might crack off in flakes like this. Other times it might not. It all depends. I'm not really sure. This doesn't seem like super glue. Because this, I'm going to have to touch all this up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Like I said, I got to be careful too not to slice a finger off. Yeah, I'm not really, I was hoping maybe it would flake off a little bit more, but it's kind of more. Yeah, this definitely isn't super glue. I'm thinking more Gorilla Glue. I could be wrong. I also tell people gluing an item and then me repairing it also causes more of an issue. And I'm not saying everybody knows I repair. Sometimes people find me and they're like, I repaired my item, but I didn't know there was somebody out there that could repair. Can you fix it? If you do work with me in the past or you do know I repair, weigh out your options whether you want me to repair it first or you want to try it yourself. Only because if you were to send me this with the broken fingers, it would be a lot easier for me to repair it and try to get all this glue off of here. That's all I really say, because as you can see, this finger is kind of at a different angle, so I have to sort of take that back out. Now, I don't want to break it by my hand because I might break it over there, so I want to go into the garage. I'm going to kind of drill some of this out, you know, I would love, if I had the other hand, I would love to just strip this down in acetone. But since I don't have the other hand, can't do that. Yeah, this stuff is not coming out too well. So it's better to, sometimes it just takes a little, I gotta see what I'm doing, you know. I'm not really, this is something I haven't come across, this type of glue. Because I think sometimes past super glues I was able to kind of get in there and pop it off. But then again, there might not be a lot of paint on here with primer. So, alright, I'm going to go to garage. I'm going to try to get these fingers back off. I'd rather break these fingers back off and start from scratch than to try to work with it on there. And but like I said, I don't know if there's rods in there. Sometimes these fingers have rods, sometimes they don't. So I gotta be very careful. Alright, I'll be back and we'll see what I come up with in the garage. Alright, so I just went in the garage and I sanded all this glue the best I could. I went ahead and drumbled out little tiny holes too in the fingers. I broke off those 2 fingers. I was just using my 3M sandpaper to sand this stuff down. Some of the glue still might be there, like over here. But what I've been trying to do is sort of get into these grooves, but I might have to use a little ease later. But we'll see. We'll see how it works. Anyway, so this finger right here I didn't break off because I'm a little concerned trying to break it here and try to get it back on. So what I did is I drumbled out a little bit of a spot there, and I want to put some eaves in there to sort of lock that in place, and then I'm going to drumble out this area and put a little eaves and lock that in place. That's the best thing I do, because this finger doesn't have a lot of meat in it, and I'm worried about trying to break this and cracking up. But with these fingers, I broke these off. I was able to get these off. I just took down all the glue that was on each side, and then what I did is I drumbled in here and I got that stuff there. So I have my rod here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to glue in the rod on each finger first. So the way this should work is, what we're going to do is we're going to take some glue. First, let's get some of my some of these here, just to have these on hand, just in case. Got my Insta-Set. I'm going to put some of the Insta-Set in the cap this time, just to make it easier. So this is what I'm going to do with this. First, we're going to just kind of clip off a piece here to make this a little easier. So, grab my magnifying glasses so I see what I'm doing. Alright, so with this finger first, alright, we're going to squeeze in a lot of glue into that hole. We are going to put this rod in there like that. So that glue is kind of like squeezed out around that finger, right? So we're just going to take this piece and take off all that glue. Put that piece over there, grab some Insta-Set, and sort of lock that into place. So we got that finger done. So the next step is we do the same thing with the other finger. The reason why I'm not trying to measure out the rod right away and make it perfect is because these are really thin. Sometimes if you make these rods too thin, or too small, I mean, with the cut, and you try to put in there, it doesn't work. So I'm not going to try to risk all that. So same thing here. We're going to squeeze in the glue into the hole. Take our glue, get it out of the way. Take the rod. So the way I'm doing is I'm holding it with the finger. I'm putting the rod in here. Come on. Get in there like so. Grab one of these, make sure we get all that excess glue off of there, and we grab our Insta-Set and go like that. Okay. Now, we got to make sure we use the right finger for the right one. So, this is the bigger finger. So, go ahead and cut this. We'll just cut it like right there for now. See if that's good enough. See, it's too long. So, we go ahead and cut a little bit more off of here. That should be good. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm lining it up correctly. Alright, so this one, what we're going to do is we're going to take it, we're going to squeeze the glue into here. piece and line it up. You got to kind of maneuver it with your fingers and kind of hold it. And then we grab some Insta-Set and go from there. So we got that finger lined up. Now, you can see there's a little bit of a gap over there. It's lined up over here correctly, but I dremelled out a lot over there because of the glue. So we're going to sort of fill that in with adhesive. Now, to double check on this finger, what we're going to do is cut off the rod. This was the finger that was kind of at an angle. So we got to cut some more off. Alright, so this finger I think needs to be bent a little bit more, so. And that's why I did that, because the glue in here and the glue in there, I can actually kind of bend the finger a little bit. Kind of position it a little bit more. And this one, same thing. Let's make sure I kind of line it up correctly. This finger's going to come over here more a little bit. Yeah, that should work pretty well. Alright, so same thing. Now the Insta-Set should have evaporated by now. Insta-Set goes pretty fast. And just sort of bend that a little bit. Alright, it's not twisted like it was before. Insta-Set. And alright, let's kind of clean this up a bit with some of that. Okay. So we got the finger pretty much as close as possible. Like I said, the problem is all that glue was there and I chopped up all that glue. It's kind of a pain in the ass to line these up correctly. But I'm lining it up as the best way I can to make it look good. So I think it's looking pretty decent, but I think this one could be bent a little bit down, twist it. See what it is in this situation I got the glue locked here, but the rod in the middle is not glued together. So I'm able to sort of bend the finger. If I was to put the rod in there and glue the fingers together perfectly, it would be locked together like that, and I would be able to kind of bend it. So that's why I did it this way this time. Okay, so that's looking pretty good there. So we still have a little bit of this adhesive from the other project I was working on. So we're going to soften this up a bit. This is going to get messy, but we'll have to clean all this up. And we have our little brush tool. And what we're going to do first is we're going to do this finger up over here. So let's just kind of glue is good, adhesive is better. But these are still fingers, so no matter how much rods you do, no matter how much glue you use, adhesive, they're still fingers and they are still breakable. So you always have to be careful. But at least we can go ahead and secure all this stuff. Okay, so we got that there. So we'll take some more of this adhesive. And we'll kind of work up these fingers a little bit here. Sadly, sometimes you gotta build up to make it thicker a little bit, because it just, you have to secure it. It's just one of those things. And you guys will be surprised on how many of these statues you get are damaged. You know, the factories will cast this up, but sometimes these fingers will break. And then, like, when I go and strip down the statue with acetone, you'll see that they repaired stuff. So, don't always think that your statues coming from factories are perfectly casted and no damages. There's a lot of damages, and you could see that they did repair a lot of these things, because you figure if they're casting up like 1,000 hands, I'm sure some of the hands will get damaged to the point without repairs, but there is probably some where they can sort of just go in there and repair it real quick and salvage a piece. So, yeah, whenever I strip down statues with like acetone and stuff, I will see like these yellow like putty areas and stuff, and you can see those things were damaged. So that's like one finger sort of locked up, and then we'll do the other finger. Now what I'll do is I'll sand this down tomorrow. And then what'll happen is after I sand it down, I might have to go back in and Dremel a little bit out more with adhesive. So this is kind of like rebuilding and building and kind of getting it back the way it was and at least look good. Where's the adhesive? Oh, here it is. This pinky finger is where I'll Dremel out this bottom part tomorrow, because this part will let dry, and that'll help me secure that piece. So this is a little too much adhesive, so what we'll do is kind of just like take it out. Alright, so that's kind of building out the fingers best I possibly can for now. And then I'll let this dry up tonight, put it on the shelf, and then tomorrow we'll get our sandpaper, we'll sand it down, we'll clean it up, and then we'll work on the inside of that finger. And then from there we'll see if I need to go back and Dremel anything. So sometimes you figure if you put in a rod and you didn't hit all of it and you might have had some air, you could go back in here and Dremel this area out and then rebuild it again with adhesive. But so far we're looking pretty good. So yeah, we'll let this set up and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll start finishing it up. And then if we get it all kind of seamed up and sanded and everything, we could work on the paint. Okay, it is the next day. So what I did is I had my 3M sandpaper pad. I used the X-Acto blade. I also have some really fine sandpaper as well. And I went ahead and sanded down a lot of the finger and everything. There is some spots because of the X-Acto blade I got to fill in. And a little bit around this area here, and also this finger part here. But all in all, it's actually pretty well done. I'm pretty happy with where it's at. I'm still going to have to do a little bit of sanding. The problem is here and here, since I filled that in, there's no like wrinkles. So I'm going to have to Dremel a little bit of this out here and a little bit here and sort of try to rebuild that a bit as best as I can. But for right now, I have this little rubber tool. It's kind of like you use this for sculpting. Get these at hobby stores. And this is my Tamiya putty, gray putty. So what I'm going to do right now is just grab some of this putty. And I just kind of want to fill in some of these areas here. make sure this way when I go back into the garage and I sand it down, I'll make sure, because usually I love to be able to prime stuff, but you know, I don't want to prime this whole entire hand and not match the paint. So we're just gonna kind of put some of this putty there, and then there's that one spot over the knuckle. This finger actually locked up pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the way this one locked up, and I sanded it down. It's just that it needs a little putty over here, like so. Alright. So while that's drying, I'm going to go in the garage. I'm going to sort of Dremel out a little bit here and a little bit there, and I'm going to try to see if I can sculpt a little bit of wrinklage like there is over here. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do that, but I should be able to maybe just kind of Dremel out a little spot there, a little stir, put in some adhesive and just hit it with the thing and then sand it down. But all in all, I like the way the rest of it's looking. I just like to put a little extra putty than normal, just because the stuff sands down pretty well and it'll help fill in any of these scratches and stuff. So we might as well just kind of do the whole entire back of the palm, or inside the palm area. I'll let this stuff dry for a bit, you know. So I think what I'm going to do is go Dremel that out. We'll come back, we'll do the little sculpting on that real quick, and then I'll let this set up for the day while I work on other stuff, and I can come back again tomorrow and sand it down and it should be ready to go. So I think what's going to happen is once I sand it down and I'm all happy with it, I'm going to hit it with some black paint, and then we'll let that dry, and then that black paint will let me know if I miss anything. So I'm not going to like spray heavy, I'm not going to go crazy with paint, just enough to kind of get a nice little layer, and it'll let me know if I need to do anything or if I'm missing anything. But all in all, the fingers are locked on pretty well. It's just that any time between the fingers that you do a layer of adhesive and then to the resin, sometimes they're not lined up perfectly, but we'll get it there. So let me go Dremel that out and we'll come right back. Okay, it is the next day. I did some sanding, and what I did is I went and did some black paint on it, and I hit it with the blow dryer. I just want to double check to see if I could clean it up a little bit better. The black paint is what is it? The Model Air from Vallejo. It goes on pretty well, but I'm gonna hit this with some better black paint. But this is kind of just like to help me see what I was kind of missing. And the Vallejo, if you don't spray it on too thick and you hit it with the blow dryer, you could kind of sand it down without it peeling. So I'm just kind of seeing some areas I just don't like. I just want to kind of clean up. And there's a spot right here. It was just a very thin layer. It wasn't too crazy. Hit it with the blow dryer enough that it lets me sand. It kind of helps me find some stuff I'm not seeing. Because when you have some putty work, and then you have some adhesive, and then you have paint, and then resin, it's hard to see what's going on. As far as the fingers, I did the little wrinkles as best as I could, but in between the fingers, it's a little bit messy. So it's going to be kind of hard to try to get in between there. But with a little work, I could get in there and sort of sand it down. So I got to get in closer off camera. So I'm going to get this kind of sanded up a little bit better. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do better paint. And then we'll make it look. Because the black paint I put on there is not like shiny enough like this. But I have gloss black from Spastic that I'm going to paint. But that'll be too glossy. But we'll hit it with some satin varnish on top of it. And it should get me this color here. But I just want to go ahead and try to clean this up as best as I can. Alright, so I am pretty much happy with where it's at. I cleaned up as best as I can and I sanded all that stuff down. So we're pretty much ready just to paint it up, and that's pretty much it. So I have Spastic Gloss Black. The reason why I'm going to use the Spastic Gloss Black on this is because this is something that you actually grab and you pop in and out because it's magnetized. and I figure I'll give it a little bit more of a durability paint since it's just solid black. If this was more of like, you know, I had to blend it out or I had to use some other colors, I would do something different. But we're going to use this, give it a nice heavy coat, not a heavy coat, but just enough of a thicker coat around this area. And then after that, I'll hit it with some satin varnish, and the satin varnish will take down this high gloss to the point where it looks like this color over here, which is a little bit shiny, but it's not like gloss black mirror shiny. Because with the other paint that I did with the Vallejo stuff, that was just more of just kind of finding some errors. Even though it matches up pretty good, you would still have to do a satin varnish, but I'd rather hit this area with a little bit of the Spaz and then give it a nice little bit more durability, just in case somebody grabs it from here. Really should be grabbing it from here though, but still, you never know. Just to give a little bit more durability. I'm going to do that off camera. We'll come back once it's all done, only because I want to not overspray, but I want to underspray. I got to kind of put it in back of the booth with this stuff and make sure that the extra dust off the paint from the airbrush kind of goes into the filter. Because if you spray this stuff far away, it kind of just like dissipates all over the place. It's good stuff, but it's just the one airbrush I have is kind of a pain. But I'm going to go ahead and do that, get that done. I'm probably going to set this up in a way where it doesn't hit anything and let it dry. And we'll come back and I'll show you the final repair. Alright, so I went ahead and sprayed it all down, and we are all done. It is pretty much good to go. Pretty happy with it. Definitely better than what it was. Got all that glue. Fingers are all lined up correctly. Added a little bit of those extra wrinkles there. So looking good. Yeah, so that's pretty much the repair. It still needs to dry. You know, I mean, even though it's like it's done, I wouldn't want to pack this up and ship it out right away. I like to let this sit overnight. But I want to send pictures to the client, show them exactly what's going on, how everything looks. If they're happy with it, then we're pretty much good to go. But other than that, we have nice secured fingers. All that glue is gone. It's all nice and clean there. Added a little bit of those wrinkles with the knuckles the best I could. And added a nice durable paint. So yeah, I'm going to let this dry up and it should be ready to go. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.